that these scientists who he was staking his reputation on were faking the data about cold fusion to make it look like nothing was going on when in fact something was.
And that it was unattainable, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Now he saw that there was a real, what they call over-unity effect going on. Over-unity means more energy coming out than it takes to run, which is obviously a dream come true for anybody that wants to drive a car and not pay $30 for a tank of gas.
Yeah.
You know, so then comes this show, and right before the show, of course, Richard has some connections with Washington, D.C. now, and we were going to be getting Eugene out there to actually show these congressmen right up in their face this machine that when you put your hands on it, it starts spinning faster just by your bioenergy, among other things.
It's a small machine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to track that down and figure out how to get it to the right people. But the point is that, like, days before we were going to have this breakthrough happen, he disappears from the world, from his life. And it appears to be deliberate sabotage. So that's the context. And one of the things that's so important is that here we have the former head of science writing out of MIT, very mainstream guy who then had to go into the alternative when he realized that the mainstream wasn't being straight up about this. And before he passed away, he had become convinced that the energy that we are dealing with is not electromagnetic, period. It is an energy that is more difficult for Western scientists to identify and understand, but there are ways in which you can measure it and understand it, and I'd like to direct your readers and listeners to aetherometry.com, spelled AETHEROMETRY.com.
Now, are you saying, though, that this energy has something to do with crop formations?
Yeah. I mean, in the sense that if you look at the research that was done on crop formations, one of the things we know is that these large underground deposits of water disappear when the formation shows up. So somehow you've got a device that is piping out the water from under the ground at just the right speed and intensity to stop the grass from burning while it's undergoing what appears to be some form of microwave radiation that's causing these stalks to bend without breaking.
And this microwave radiation could be coming from either above or below, right?
Right. But the point is that the microwave radiation is probably only one part of it, and the other part would be these hyperdimensional energy fields that are actually responsible for piping out the water, because the water literally has to transmute through physical space.
Well, what about the intelligence behind this, David?
I believe that we're dealing with extraterrestrial intelligence, which is of a positive and benevolent nature. I think that movies that would attempt to portray crop formations as negative or harbingers of doom are simply misled. The higher forces, as far as I understand it, from my own communications with them and some certain sources of intel that I believe are valid, they cannot interfere directly on our free will. They can't trample on our rights to not want to know.
What are they trying to tell us?
They're trying to tell us that there is a new model of physics. They have been showing diagrams of how this works. And now, as of July 21st, 2004, and hopefully I'm the first person to tell your audience this, they have put a formation down in Avebury, Wiltshire at Silbury Hill that defines the end of 2012. It actually shows you a clock that counts off the days until it happens.
Are you saying, because this is something that we've been trying to find for a very long time,
correct,
that there's a rationale now for the end date of December 21st,
right,
2012?
As of tonight, and hopefully this is the first time many of you guys have heard this.
Well, it's the first time we've heard it on Coast to Coast.
We have the smoking gun that makes a direct connection between crop circles and the end of the Mayan calendar, because they put it down there. And what they did is very ingenious. They set up a system. You can read about this on cropcircleconnector.com, which is a site out of England. And what it has basically is, first of all, you're looking at it and you see a wheel of obviously Mayan glyphs. There are 4 major points that are like in a cross shape, so equally spaced along that outer wheel. And those points are black. And if you look at those black areas more closely, they're actually divided in half So there's 2 squares for each of these 4 points. Now, the man who decoded this discovered that the Mayan system is all based on 52 and various cycles of 52. Like if you add zeros to it, you get 5,200 years, 520 years, 52 years, and then on down. So then here's your wheel on the outside, and what he figured out was, just like the Mayan calendar is set up, these 4 major points signify these 5,200-year intervals, and then the ones inside are 520. And there's inside that wheel, there is a set of wings. They actually look like bird wings. Now, I don't know if you realize this or not, but the symbol for Ra, the Egyptian god, who also apparently is the entity that I'm in touch with now, the symbol for Ra is the winged disc, and there is a winged disc inside this wheel. So you can naturally assume why I'm so excited about this.
Now, but what does this all mean in terms of 2012?
The wings are pointing towards a certain part of this diagram where it breaks down units of time into 8.67-year intervals. And the way that those wings point says that right now we are lying 8.67 years away from the end of this cycle. Well, figure it out.
Now, what does that mean, though, the end of the cycle?
That means that, they're showing us the Mayan calendar, and they're telling us that when the crop formation went down, we're 8.67 years away from it, and that's almost exactly correct. So the crop formation defines when it was put down, and it defines when the end of the calendar is. It shows you the calendar, and it gives you a precise timeline of how much more time we've got left before it happens.
Before what happens, though?
Whatever 2012 is supposed to be, and that's where the crop formation leaves you to figure
out.
All
right, so that we don't know yet.
Well, I think I got a good idea. But no, the formation doesn't tell us that. What the formation does is it gives self-referential coordinates. It refers to itself 2 different ways. It uses both Mayan and Aztec cosmology. It's a little complicated, but it's all written up on Crop Circle Connector.
David, that crop circle image, that crop formation, this one indeed a circle. I mean, there is no way this thing could have been hoaxed. There is no way.
Great, yeah.
I mean, my gosh, I'm talking to people about that, and I mean, it would take somebody 6 weeks to do this with a team of experts, and they'd be seen by that time.
And every year they show up overnight in places that nobody's been seen, and they have anomalous formations. I mean, some of the things you don't even see clearly in the image because the way that the crops get laid down is not bent or broken. There's no muddy footprints. There's nothing like that. The crops are actually bent at the growth nodes.
And aren't they sometimes genetically altered, or there is a change? Exactly.
Yeah, they'll keep on growing even though they've been bent over. They don't die. They actually keep on growing. And there are sometimes significant changes in the seeds, in the way that the seed's DNA looks, changes in the growth nodes, in the size of the growth nodes, signs of swelling, which would indicate that they were heated from within. So it appears that, a lot of people have concluded that there's some kind of microwave energy going on.
Why is it in the form of a message, but it's done in such a very strange way? Why don't they make it easy for us to determine and decipher exactly what they're trying to tell us?
Because the higher forces are never going to openly reveal themselves to us until we as a planet make a consensus that we would like them to do so. They cannot just lay down in the crops somewhere this paragraph of text that says, hey guys, we're here, 2012, there's going to be this outrageous thing that's going to change DNA, and you guys need to try to get ready for that by opening up to your own spiritual self.
Well, and maybe we're definitely not ready either. Maybe we haven't proven ourselves to the galactic force out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the basic things that they seem to be wanting is for us to work out some of our most basic differences with each other. And if we don't do that, the situation will still happen.
We may never do that.
Well, it's not so much at this point that people need to worry about what's going on in global geopolitics as much as what's going on in their own lives. These higher beings did contact members of our governments, including President Eisenhower. He had a direct contact with positive entities, but the governments did not want to take the deal that the positive entities offered, which was teach your people about spirituality and about world peace and being able to accept each other. And then when